I spent years building a dream house for my family, but when it was finally finished, they called it just another place. And that was the day I realized bricks and walls mean nothing without warmth inside them. I spent years building a dream house for my family, but when it was finally finished, they called it just another place. And that was the day I realized bricks and walls mean nothing without warmth inside them. I'm writing this with shaking hands in what used to be my home office. The house is silent except for the sound of my wife packing upstairs. My kids won't even look at me. It started with Sarah from the architectural firm. For 3 years, I poured everything into building our dream house. Every weekend, every vacation day, every spare dollar. Lisa, my wife of 12 years, kept saying we didn't need something so big, so expensive. The kids just need a home where we're happy, she'd say. But I knew better. I was going to give them everything I never had. Sarah understood the vision. She'd stay late with me going over blueprints while Lisa was home with homework duty. Sarah got excited about crown molding and custom built-ins. She'd touch my arm when she explained design concepts, her eyes lighting like Lisa's used to when we talked about our future. We're building something incredible, Sarah would whisper as we stood in the skeleton of what would become our living room. Family is so lucky. Lisa stopped coming to the construction site after month 6. It feels like project, not ours, she said. I told her she was being dramatic. This was for them, everything was for them. But Sarah came every day. She brought coffee for the crew, remembered their names. She'd find me in the chaos and we'd walk through the rooms together, planning, dreaming. Her laugh echoed off the bare walls like music. The first time I heard her was in what would become Emma's bedroom. We'd been discussing paint colors and she was standing so I could smell her perfume. Wife is going to love this room, she said, but the way she looked at me said something else entirely. I told it was just a moment. Just stress and attraction and the intoxicating feeling of someone who truly saw my vision. But moments became hours. Hours became meetings that didn't need to happen. Sarah would text me late at night about urgent design questions that could have waited until morning. I'd slip out of bed leaving Lisa sleeping, to answer calls that turned into conversations that had nothing to do with construction. We're just friends, I told, even as I started hiding my phone. Even as I found excuses to work late. Even as I began to resent coming home to Lisa's tired questions about budgets and timelines. Sarah made me feel like the man I thought I was, successful, appreciated. Lisa only saw problems, the cost overruns, the stress I was bringing home, the way I'd snap at the kids when they interrupted my calls with the contractor, or becoming someone I don't recognize. Lisa said one night after I'd missed Tommy's baseball game for the 3rd time, "This house is changing, Bon. I'm doing this for all of, so we can have something real, something permanent, something like I was a stranger." We already had something real, David. We had each other. But I was too deep in the blueprints and the fantasy to hear her. The house was scheduled to be finished in October. Sarah and I had been involved for 4 months by then. I'd convinced it wasn't really an affair because we'd never crossed certain lines. Just emotional connection, just someone who understood me. Lisa planned a surprise party for the house completion. She'd invited our families, our friends, even some neighbors from our old street. She'd ordered a cake with a little sugar house on top. To celebrate David's dream coming true. The inscription read, I found out about the party from my mother-in-law's Facebook post 3 days before. Lisa had been planning it for weeks, coordinating with contractors to make sure we'd be ready. She'd kept it secret because she wanted to surprise me. That's when I realized I hadn't told Sarah about the party. About any of it, In my mind, the house completion would be intimate. Just Sarah and me, walking through our creation one final time before I figured out how to end things cleanly. I called Sarah, panicked. There's gonna be a party. My whole family will be there. Silence. Then family. Of course, I forgot I was just helping build someone else's dream. The in her voice threw me. I'd been lying to both of them, but mostly to. I thought I could have it all. The perfect house, the perfect family, and the perfect woman who understood my ambitions. The party was this past Saturday. Lisa had decorated the empty rooms with balloons and streamers. The built-in bookcases I'd agonized over were draped with congratulations banners. Tommy and Emma ran through the halls, their footsteps echoing in ways they never would once we moved our furniture in. Everyone toured the house, praising the craftsmanship, the attention to detail. My father-in-law, who'd never approved of the expense, admitted it was something special. Lisa's sister posted pictures on Instagram with captions about dream homes coming true. But Lisa was quiet. I found her in the master bedroom, staring out the window at the yard-eyed landscape. It's beautiful, she said without looking at me. Really, it's everything wanted. Something in her tone made my stomach drop. What's wrong? This is our moment, our celebration. She turned to face me and her eyes were red. David, I found the texts. The room spun. The carefully planned crown molding, the custom light fixtures, the walk-in closet that was supposed to make her feel like a queen. None of it mattered. Lisa, I can explain. 4 months, she whispered. 4 months have been building this house with her instead of building it with me. I tried to deny it, to minimize it, to explain that it wasn't what it looked like. But Lisa had screenshots, messages about meeting after hours, photos Sarah had sent of progress updates that were clearly just excuses to text, conversations that started about doorknobs and ended with plans to meet for coffee. I thought we're just stressed about the construction, Lisa said, her voice barely audible over the party noise downstairs. I thought once it was done we'd be us again. But we're never building this house for us, we're building it for the person wanted to become. With someone else. The party was still happening below us. I could hear Tommy showing his friends the built-in gaming nook I'd designed just for him. Emma was probably in her room, spinning in the window seat I'd positioned perfectly to catch the morning light for her art projects. They had no idea their world was about to collapse. Please, I begged. Lisa, please. Sarah doesn't mean anything, she helped me see the potential in this place. But it's ours. It's for Tommy and Emma. It's for our family. Lisa looked around the room, the tray ceiling I'd insisted on, the hardwood floors I'd hand-selected. The sweet bathroom with the soaker tub she'd mentioned wanting once years ago, before I'd started treating her input like an inconvenience. No, David, she said. This is house, with mistress, built on lies. I've been sleeping next to a stranger for months, watching fall in love with someone else while pretending we're doing it all for me. That's when I heard Tommy calling for us downstairs. Mom, Dad, come see. Grandpa wants to take a picture of all of us in front of the fireplace. Lisa wiped her eyes and straightened her dress. We're gonna finish this party, she said, for the kids, but tomorrow we're telling them the truth, and then can have perfect house all to pine. She walked out, leaving me alone in the bedroom I'd designed for us to grow old together. I stood there surrounded by everything I'd worked for, everything I'd sacrificed for, everything I'd betrayed my family for. The walls felt like they were closing in, even though I'd made sure the room was spacious enough for a king-size bed and 2 dressers and a reading chair by the window. The house was perfect, every detail exactly as I'd envisioned, but it was just a house now, bricks and mortar and wood and dreams that belonged to no one. I'd spent 3 years building something that was supposed to last forever. It took 3 minutes for my wife to show me I'd actually been demolishing everything that mattered the whole time. The moving truck left an hour ago. Lisa took the kids to her sister's place while the movers came for their things. I sat in my car at the end of the driveway, watching strangers carry away 12 years of our together. The worst part? Everything looked wrong in the house I'd spent 3 years perfecting. Tommy's gaming setup looked tiny in that custom nook I'd built. The built-ins I'd obsessed over just made Emma's room feel empty when her art supplies were gone. The kitchen island I'd insisted needed a seat 8 now feels like a monument to meals that will never happen. Lisa left me a note on the granite countertop I'd picked out. The house is yours. The mortgage is yours. The memories we could have made here are yours too. I hope it was worth it. I called Sarah that first night, sitting alone in a dining room designed for family dinners. The call went straight to voicemail. I tried again the next morning. Same thing. By day 3 I realized her number was disconnected. I drove to the architectural firm where she worked. The receptionist, someone I chatted with dozens of times during the project, looked at me like I was a stranger. Sarah, she transferred to our Seattle office, effective immediately. Left no forwarding information. That's when it hit me. Sarah wasn't waiting for me. She'd never been waiting for me. The moment she realized I had a whole family she didn't know about, she was gone. I'd been building fantasies about a woman who saw me as a client who got too attached. The neighbors started talking by week 2. Henderson from across the street, who'd brought Lisa casseroles during the stressful construction months, now crosses to the other side when she gets her mail. I can see the curtains move when I come and go. The neighborhood group chat that used to include me went silent after Lisa posted a simple message: David and I are separating. Please respect our privacy during this difficult time. But word gets out anyway. Small town, big house, bigger scandal. I ran into Jake Morrison at the grocery store, a guy whose kids play with Tommy and Emma. Hey man, he said, not quite meeting my eyes. Heard about it, Lisa. That's rough. I started to explain, to minimize, to salvage something. But Jake me off. Look, I don't know what happened, but Emma cried through Sophia's entire birthday party last weekend. Said she doesn't understand why daddy chose someone else. Kids don't make that stuff, no. He walked away, leaving me standing in the cereal aisle holding a box of the kind Tommy likes. Like past tense because I don't know what he likes anymore. The kids won't see me. Lisa agreed to supervise visits, but Tommy refuses to get in my car. We're a liar, he said the first time I came to pick him. Mom explained what did. Had a girlfriend while we're married to her. Emma, my little artist who used to show me every drawing, just hides behind Lisa's legs. She's 7 years old and she knows her father is someone who breaks promises. I was trying to build us something special. I told them through Lisa's screen door. The house has rooms exactly how we planned them. Emma, remember the window seat we're wanted to paint? It's perfect now. The light hits it just right in the mornings. Emma looked at me with those huge brown eyes she got from her mother. But don't love mommy anymore, she whispered. So it's not our house. It's just house. Kids see everything so clearly. No complicated emotions or justifications. Just truth. I've been sleeping in the guest bedroom because the master bedroom still smells like Lisa's shampoo. The walk-in closet I designed to be Orzin's is just now, and my clothes look lost in all that space. The worst is dinner time. I sit at that 8-person island eating takeout for one. The acoustics I'd carefully planned for entertaining just make every sound echo. My fork scraping the plate, the refrigerator humming, the silence where laughter used to be. I tried cooking a real meal once, spaghetti and meatballs, something the kids always loved. But standing there stirring sauce in a kitchen designed for family memories, I started crying so hard I had to turn off the stove. Ordered pizza instead and ate it standing. The house showing started 3 weeks ago. I can't afford the mortgage alone. Even with my salary, the monthly payment was stretched thin with 2 incomes. Now it's impossible. I have to sell the dream house I destroyed my family to build. It's beautiful, the first realtor said walking through rooms with her measuring tape. Clearly custom work. High-end finishes. But it's priced above market for the neighborhood, and homes this size are hard to move. Families looking in this price range usually want something established with character. This feels cold, cold. The word I'd been trying to avoid for weeks. She was right. Every detail was perfect. But nothing felt lived in. No scuff marks from kids running through halls. No worn spots on the hardwood from years of family. No memories soaked into the walls. The previous owners did an amazing renovation job. She continued, not knowing I was the previous owner. The only owner. But it lacks warmth. So no, people want to buy a feeling, not just square footage. I priced it below what I paid to build it. Even at a loss, no offers came. Then Lisa filed for divorce. The papers arrived on a Tuesday, delivered by a process server who apologized for bothering me at work. My colleagues pretended not to notice, but word spread fast. By lunch everyone knew. Irreconcilable differences, that's what the legal language said. But I knew better. Irreparable damage. Irredeemable choices. The custody arrangement Lisa proposed was brutal but fair: supervised visits until I completed counseling and only if the kids agreed to see me. Emergency contact only. Major decisions required her approval. I'd gone from being a father to being a stranger with parental rights on paper. My lawyer, a woman about Lisa's age, looked at me at car desk with barely concealed disgust. Wife as documentation of the affair. Text messages, photos, timeline evidence. She could ask for much less access if she wanted to be vindictive. Should consider fortunate. Fortunate, I was living alone in a house I couldn't afford, estranged from my children, facing divorce papers that would cost me half of everything I had left, and I was fortunate. The loneliness is the worst part. I wake in a house designed for noise and find only silence. I walk through rooms meant for family gatherings and hear only my own footsteps. The great room with its soaring ceilings and custom entertainment center just amplifies how empty everything feels. I tried having friends over once. My college buddy Mike came by with sympathy. "Dude, this place is incredible," he said, admiring the built-in bar I'd insisted on. Always talked about building something like this. But even Mike could feel it. The conversations died in the big spaces. The acoustics that worked for family chatter made everything echo weirdly with just two people. He left early, claiming he had to get home to his wife. His wife who he'd never cheated on, who trusted him, who still made his house a home. I started working later just to avoid coming back to the emptiness. But work, gossip, travels, and clients started asking uncomfortable questions. "How's the family enjoying the new house?" Turned into awkward silences when people realized there was no family anymore. The worst conversation was with my biggest client, Mrs. Patterson, who'd hired me after seeing my house featured in the local paper's Dream Home section. That article ran 2 days before Lisa left me. "I'm so sorry to hear about situation," Mrs. Patterson said during what I thought was going to be a project meeting. "But I have to be honest, we're looking for someone who understands family dynamics. Home is about relationships, not just architecture. I think we need to go in a different direction." She fired me politely, professionally, but the message was clear. If can't keep own family together, why would anyone trust to design theirs? The house has been on the market for 2 months now. 3 price drops, dozens of showings, no offers. The realtor says it's because buyers can sense something's wrong. Houses hold energy. This one feels sad. Last week a young couple with 2 small kids toured the property. I watched from my car as they walked through with their agent. The wife spent a long time in Emma's room, probably imagining her own daughter painting by the window seat I'd positioned perfectly. But they didn't make an offer either. "Beautiful house," their agent told mine. But they said it felt lonely, like it was built for a family that never existed. That night, I sat in the dark living room thinking about that phrase. A family that never existed. We were happy in our old house, with its cramped kitchen and single bathroom and tiny bedrooms. We existed until I decided what we had wasn't enough. I built this house trying to create the perfect family. Instead, I built a monument to everything I weigh chasing perfection. The divorce papers are sitting on the kitchen counter unsigned. Not because I'm fighting it, but because signing them feels like the final admission that I destroyed everything that mattered for something that was never real. Sarah's in Seattle, probably designing dream homes for other families. Lisa is at her sister's, helping Tommy with homework and reading bedtime stories to Emma in a cramped guest room that probably feels more like home than this place ever will. And I'm here, alone with custom built-ins and crown molding in a chef's kitchen that nobody cooks in. The closing was yesterday. After 6 months on the market, 4 price drops, and more showings than I can count. Someone finally bought the house I destroyed my family for. An investor from out of state, cash offer. 30% below what I paid to build it. He's turning it into a rental property. I sat in the lawyer's office signing papers to transfer ownership of what was supposed to be our forever home, and the buyer didn't even show. His attorney handled everything remotely. To him it's just square footage and rental income potential. No dreams attached. The realtor tried to make small talk while we waited for the final signatures. "At least can move on now," she said. "Fresh start, right? Fresh start, like I was graduating college or switching jobs, not selling the physical manifestation of every mistake I'd made over the past 4 years. I drove by the house one last time after the closing. There was already a for rent sign in the yard where Lisa's flower garden used to be. The new owner had hired landscapers to tear out everything personal, anything that looked like someone had actually lived there. The window boxes Emma had helped me install were gone. The tire swing Tommy had begged for was down. Even the custom mailbox with our family name was replaced with a generic black one that just said the street number. It looked like what it always was, I realized. Just a building. Expensive, well built, completely soulless. The money from the sale barely covered what I still owed on the construction loan. After legal fees and realtor commissions, I walked away with enough for a security deposit on a 1-bedroom apartment across town. 1,200 square feet instead of 4,000. Laminate counters instead of granite. A parking spot instead of a 3-car garage. But know what? It feels more like home than that house ever did. The apartment is in a complex where families live. Kids ride bikes in the parking lot. I can hear louder through thin walls. Television shows I recognize normal happening all around me. It's not perfect, but it's real. I've been going to therapy twice a week for 3 months now. Dr. Martinez doesn't let me make excuses or blame anyone else. First session, I tried explaining about the stress of construction, about Lisa not understanding my vision, about Sarah just being there when I needed someone who got it. "Stop," she said. "Her telling me a story about why actions were understandable. I need to tell me a story about what actions actually cost." That's when I had to say it out loud for the first time. Really say it. I chose temporary validation over permanent love. I chose fantasy over family. I chose someone who didn't even know my children's names over the woman who'd spent 12 years building it with me. The house was never about them, was it? Dr. Martinez asked during our 6th session. I wanted to argue, to insist that everything I did was for Tommy and Emma and Lisa. But sitting in that tiny office with its generic furniture and fluorescent lighting, I couldn't lie anymore. No, I admitted. It was about proving something to maybe, or to people who were trying to prove. That I was successful. That I could provide. That I was. I struggled for the word. Worthy. Worthy of what? Of being loved. Though irony hit me like a physical. I destroyed the people who already loved me trying to prove I deserved love. The kids still won't see me. Lisa sends updates sometimes. School photos, report cards. Videos of Emma's art show or Tommy's soccer games. She doesn't have to do that, but she says the kids might want to know I care about their lives, even if they're not ready to let me back into them. Tommy made honor roll last semester. Emma won second place in the district art competition with a painting of a house. Not our old house or the dream house, but something she imagined. Small, crooked, with smoke coming from the chimney and stick figures holding hands in the yard. Home, she titled it. Lisa included a note with that photo. She says this is what home looks like. People who choose each other every day. Choose each other every day. That's what I'd stopped doing long before I met Sarah. I'd stopped choosing Lisa when her concerns about money felt like criticism. I'd stopped choosing Tommy when his games conflicted with construction meetings. I'd stopped choosing Emma when her art projects felt less important than architectural plans. I'd been building walls around for years. Sarah was just the excuse I used to make them permanent. Last month I ran into Lisa at the grocery store. She looked good, healthier somehow. She was with Emma, who immediately hid behind her mother's legs when she saw me. My own daughter, afraid of me. David, Lisa said carefully. How are doing? I said, and meant it. Therapy is helping. The apartment is, it's good. Small but good. Emma peeked around Lisa's legs, studying me like I was a stranger she was trying to remember. Sweetheart, I said softly. No. She nodded but didn't speak. You should go, Lisa said. Not unkindly. But not warmly either. Lisa, I called as they started to walk away. I know this doesn't matter now, but I need to know. Not for 1 second. I was just too selfish and to remember that love is something do, not something feel. She stopped, her back to me. Emma was watching my face intently. I know, Lisa said without turning around. That's what makes it so sad. They left me standing by the frozen foods, realizing that being loved had never been my problem. Knowing how to love had been. The therapy is working, but it's brutal. Last week Dr. Martinez made me write letters I'll never send. To Lisa, apologizing for specific things instead of general mistakes. To Tommy, acknowledging that I'd taught him men abandon their families when things get hard. To Emma, admitting that I'd broken her trust in the concept of forever. To Sarah, thanking her for showing me who I really was when I thought no one was looking. To for the man I used to be before I decided he wasn't enough. Can't rebuild a family like built that house. Dr. Martinez told me. Relationships aren't construction projects with blueprints and timelines. They're living things that need daily care, not grand gestures. I've been volunteering at Habitat for Humanity on weekends. Building homes for families who actually need them. Who will fill them with love instead of expectations. Working with my hands again, but this time for people who understand that home isn't about square footage or custom finishes. Last Saturday, I helped a single mom named Maria frame the bedroom where her twin boys will sleep. She kept crying as we worked, overwhelmed that strangers would help her family have something stable. I can't believe this is really ours, she said, running her hands along the wall studs. Somewhere my boys can grow, somewhere safe. Her joy in that unfinished shell was more beautiful than anything I'd felt in my perfect dream house. Because it wasn't about the building, it was about that would happen inside it. That's when I understood what had been trying to tell me all along. Home isn't something build. It's something nurture. Every single day. With the people who matter most. The investor who bought my house sent me pictures last week. He'd finished converting it into a high-end rental. The photos looked exactly like a real estate listing, pristine, professional, empty. Luxury home available for lease, the ad read. Perfect for executive families. Short-term agreements welcome. Term agreements. No one will ever love that house enough to stay forever. It will always be just a place people live temporarily while they're waiting for something better. Something real. I printed one of the photos and put it on my refrigerator. Not because I miss it, but because I need to remember what happens when build something beautiful on a foundation of lies. It becomes a monument to everything lost. The divorce was finalized 2 weeks ago. Lisa kept her maiden name. Tommy and Emma kept mine, which feels like more grace than I deserve. I see them in town sometimes, always together, always laughing about something I'm not part of anymore. They look happy. Really happy. In ways they never did during those last months in our old house when I was always stressed about construction deadlines and cost overruns. They look like a family that chose each other, every single day. I'm learning to live with the silence of my choices. The phone that doesn't ring, the weekends with no plans, the holidays spent alone. The knowledge that somewhere across town, my children are growing without me because I traded their security for a fantasy that lasted exactly as long as it took for reality to find me. Dr. Martinez says healing isn't about forgiveness from others. It's about accepting consequences without resentment. Learning to carry the weight of what've done without letting it crush who trying to become. Some nights I still dream about the house. But not the way it was when I finished it. I dream about how it could have been. Tommy's friends coming over after school, Emma painting by her window seat while Lisa cooks dinner, family movie nights in the great room, birthday parties in the backyard. All that I could have built inside those perfect walls if I'd understood that the architecture of a home has nothing to do with blueprints. I wake from those dreams in my small apartment, surrounded by the quiet of I have to rebuild from nothing. No shortcuts this time, no grand gestures, just the slow honest work of becoming someone worthy of the second chances I may never get. The house sold for a fraction of what it cost me to build. But what I really lost can't be measured in dollars or square footage.